Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Yeah, you make me laugh, because I'm certainly not going to make you laugh. Although, we have somebody coming on the show today that might make you laugh. Stand-up comedian by the name of Billy Joe Gillespie will be our guest about 12 minutes or so from now. Did I get a late start this morning? I possibly did. Well, let's hear this. Oh, I love that. I love that. Good morning, folks. It is Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. Great to have you here. As I mentioned, Billy Joe Gillespie, who is a stand-up comedian, will be joining us around 9:15 this morning. The app is out. The app for Android is out. We're having some, and you can get that, by the way, by going to MindDog TV. There's a big button that says Google Play. Google Play. You just click on that, and you take you right to get the app. I could just bring the link in here, but I am very lazy this morning. I need more sleep. Sleep. Never get enough sleep. But the app for iOS, for iPhone, is held up a little bit because my original Apple developer account was started in 2008 when the iPhone first came out, and there was no App Store even. And I started it under my own name for Hair Designer TV and into Coiffure North America. And now, 15 years later, if you're going to have collaboration with a company like Live 365, you need to be established as under a business developer account. But I renewed my personal developer account, want to change it to a business account, and they're giving me all sorts of hoops to jump through and all that kind of stuff. So the iPhone app is going to be delayed a little bit longer, but the Android version of the app is out, and check it out, folks. I mean, MindDog Radio is probably, the coolest thing to listen to. Last night I was listening to it, and you're not going to get this anywhere else, where you're just going to get a mix of very strange segues. It could be, Frank Sinatra to Rush to Jay-Z to Brendan Walsh reading his Yelp reviews. And it's just surprising. You never know what you're going to get. And it's very cool. If you're like radio before radio became Clear Channel, everything owned by Clear Channel, and everything became homogenized, one company really running all radio in America. Actually, it's probably about 6 media companies run all the media in the world. It's something different. So check it out. Get the app. You don't have to get the app, but you can go to Live 365 and just look for MindDog Radio. Find it right there. Or you can get the Live 365 app and just look for MindDog Radio if you have iPhone. Or if you have the Android, go get our app right from minddogtv.com. Some really disturbing news this morning. Young girl, 20 years old, driving in Sarasota, New York, which is a pretty rural county. There's no major cities in there, and she was in a rural area. Pulled in the wrong driving to a house of somebody she knew, and mistake made a mistake and drove in the wrong driveway and was shot and killed. I blame the guy. Obviously, blame the guy who shot and killed her for being a little bit, to say the least, weak, scared, cowardly. You don't shoot somebody because they pull in your driveway. You gotta give them more than that. And she was pulling out, supposedly, according to the report. She pulled in the driveway, realized she made a mistake, was backing out when the guy came running out of his house and shot her to death. Now, you can make all the case you want for um, protecting your property and stuff. That clearly is just panicking, cowardly, weak. And yes, I blame the guy who did the shooting, but I also blame the media for fanning the flames of dystopia, telling people that this world isn't safe. You need guns. You need to protect yourself. They're coming to get you. Everybody's everywhere you go. People just want to murder you. It's not the case. I'm a senior citizen. We know that. I walk down the street in any city in America, never fearful for my life, never fearful for being attacked. Could it happen? Sure, it could happen. But the threat of it is way overblown. And this is what got people, I don't know, scared, cowardly, panicking, unable to make clear decisions. There's no reason to shoot somebody because they pulled into your driveway. Um, and there's nothing more that can be said about that, I guess. 20-year-old girl lost her life. Guy was 65. Scared. Before you go asking any questions, there was no racial diversity included in this story. White people shooting white people. So we don't have to make it a racial thing, okay? Just very sad. 20-year-old girl, her life is over. Not a good way to start a show that's going to hopefully, eh, hopefully be a little funny in a few minutes when Billy Joe Gillespie gets here. Billy Joe Gillespie is, I don't want to say a former Marine. I don't know what they say. I'm just going to say a Marine. I'm not sure if she's still active in the Marines, out of Boulder, Colorado, and doing stand-up comedy, um, and producing her own shows and stuff like that, and has some very strong opinions according to her Twitter and Facebook page about how it should be done. I started a Substack yesterday, and the essence of the Substack was the inspiration I took from Vinny Vanelli from last week. Vinny is a teacher, full-time teacher, and a stand-up comic in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And Vinny is a guy who is only been in it he's 43 years old, been in it since he was 38 years old. There's a lot of this going on. And it should be encouraged. I think life is short. You got to do what you want to do. And so people should be encouraged to follow their dreams, even if the competition is strong, even if the odds of achieving big time success are small. People should be encouraged to follow dreams, but they should be encouraged to follow dreams in the right way. And too many people, and this is what got me on that rant about the memes. Thank you, Carl. Memes. And the you know, affirmations that people get hooked on. I'm turning the right. I'm doing what I do. Whatever the hell he's saying now. I'm following my dream. I'm living the life that I want to live. Um, that's all great, but are you making? Can you support yourself? Because too many people in comedy can't support themselves. I'm living a dream. I'm playing the game by my own rules. You're not making any friggin' money, and here's the thing: you really can't take steps to advance your own career if you don't have a nickel in your pocket. If you don't have a bank account, you can't even produce your own, demo tape. You can't do anything without a few dollars in your pocket. And if you can't support yourself at an age where you should be a full-grown adult and making real adult decisions and having responsibilities, you can't afford to chase your dream. It's just that simple. So, a lot of people are going about it the wrong way. But Vinny serves as an example. Listen, he's working a full-time job as a teacher, but he still manages time to find the energy to write comedy, produce his own shows, go out and do those shows late night, then has to work on papers for his kids and do the grading for kids and all that kind of stuff. Has to find the time, but he's got a full calendar, and he's only been in the game for 5 years. He's doing it right. It's exhausting. It's hard. You're gonna do it, and you're gonna do it right. Chasing your dream is never gonna be easy. It's hard work. It's exhausting work, but at the end of the day, that exhausting work feels good because you know you're doing what you want to do, as opposed to going for signing up for a contest for superstardom when you're not ready for a television series or for going for it and you have to pay money for the audition. You're not ready. You're living in somebody else's free charitable room for you. You have no car, you have no bank account, no money, and you think that's how you're going to be successful. Waiting for the next 5-run home run in baseball or a Hail Mary that's going to be 2 touchdowns in one. It'd be impossible. Yes, there are lottery winners. Nobody who wins the lottery stays rich or holds on to their money for very long. And this is what the mentality of a lot of comedians, and I get it. So the Substack is all about this, by the way. Yesterday's article is all about this. I get it that if you're starting the game very late in life where you're competing with kids who don't have the responsibilities that you have. If you're 38 to 45 and trying to start a career in a competitive arts where young people are in the game who don't have the financial responsibilities, you don't have all the adulting responsibilities that you have, you feel like the deck is stacked against you and that your time is not your friend. And it might not be. But if you're making the decision to say, you only live once and this is my life, and you're going to go after it, you got to do it right. You have to be responsible. You have to be able to pay your bills. And then you have to be smart about your own negotiations and the work you do take. Listen, Mikey and I discuss this all the time. We used to work 6 and 7 nights a week. We would do doubles. We for the first 15 years that we were outperforming, we wouldn't turn down work. And often that meant getting taken advantage of. People will take advantage of you if you let them. We've learned to negotiate. We've learned to turn down work if it just didn't meet the financial requirements. We've learned to say, yeah, you can hire entertainment, but you're not going to get 5 people for that much money. You're going to get 2 people for that much money. You have to have some business sense. You have to have real metrics to be able to measure your success. If you want to say, because the bottom line of this thing is you can't go to do an open mic, come home, and then spend all day on Facebook writing inspirational quotes from Chicken Soup for the Soul, or How to Live uh, Rich and Die Young, whatever the hell those dopey self-help books are. You can't be just copying that stuff onto your Facebook page all day and thinking that's going to propel you towards a career in stand-up comedy. And the other part of it, it's got to be realistic. If you're really doing this for the love of the craft, whatever it is you're doing, superstardom, stardom is a hit and miss thing. It's not necessarily based on talent, although talent is important. It's not necessarily based on hard work, although hard work is important. It's not necessarily based on networking, although all that stuff is important. There's a huge amount of luck that goes into becoming Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, whoever you're looking at as your standard for how you measure stardom. So if you're really in it for the love of the craft, defining success as being able to really support yourself in a comfortable lifestyle, doing what you want to do, not sacrificing on your art, but making it pay the bills financially. To me, that's how I would define success. I'm not telling you have to define success that way, but I think if you're defining your success as having to be on the big time Netflix calendar for 3 specials this year and doing arenas, you're probably kidding yourself too. Killing yourself, kidding yourself. Anyway, let's lighten it up a little bit. Anyway, I don't know how. Oh, because the Substack is out, free for the first 14 days. Everything I put out there is going to be free for 14 days. After that, if you want to find archived articles, you have to join the Substack. Pretty fair, right? I think so. Siri's listening to me right now. Hey, Siri, stop listening to me. Okay. Billy Joe Gillespie is a comedian and producer based in Boulder, Colorado. As I mentioned, she's a Marine. Now, I got to call my brother again and say, how am I supposed to say this again? I think it's former Marine. Somebody said, you're never a former Marine. You're always a Marine. I don't know. I get confused about these things. Anyway, her company, Outhouse Comedy Productions, is partnering with with the Psychedelic Club for psychedelic comedy starring A.J. Finney. Ladies and gentlemen, please open your ears, open your minds, and help me welcome in Billy Joe Gillespie to Coffee with Doug. Billy Joe, welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure having you. Now, it's very early. I have to say thank you for getting up very early wherever you're in Boulder, Colorado.
Yes.
Yeah. How's the scene out there, comedy-wise?
It's really thriving. We have a show at the first place to have a liquor license in Colorado. So it's called License Number One. It's a historic hotel. There's a show that goes there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We have 2 shows that stay packed on Sunday nights.
Now, when you say first place to have a liquor license in Colorado, that didn't matter though then, right? I'm just thinking it was the old
It
West.
was a speakeasy before.
Yeah. So
it is the Wild West.
Yeah, last time I was in Colorado, it was still the Wild West. Sorry, that's not true. The last time I was in Colorado was 96, 97. But before that, it was still the Wild West. It was the 70s. And, oh, my God, it was still 100 years behind the times. In some places, it was, horses and, old saloons and stuff. So
we hold on to our fun part of our history.
Yeah. Are you originally from Colorado? That's where you're from?
Yes.
Are you a Marine, a Marine, former Marine? How do I say that?
Marine.
Marine.
I kept the title.
Oh, yeah. Are you still active?
No.
Okay.
I've been out for many years.
Okay. Now, were you performing comedy while you were in?
No, I am one of the later in life beginners that you talked about. I didn't start comedy till I was 35.
Perfect. Because and I don't know if you agree with me or not, but this is a great conversation to have. It's how you get started and how you because there are so many people that I'm finding that are doing this now, and I encourage that. But there are so many people I feel are doing it absolutely the wrong way, and they're because time does not feel like it's your friend when you get into it late in life. You can make some really you can sacrifice yourself or make some bad choices and put yourself out there. Do you agree with that with what I've said so far?
I've seen a lot of that, but I've also seen people who started later in life, and because they understood the business side of things because they understood management side of things, they became some of the best producers in town within a year of really getting started.
Right. Okay. Now, producers, you say so they're producing their own shows in comedy clubs or other kind of venues.
Other venues. I watched Lisa Lane here in the Denver scene pretty much save a bar that was collapsing with her bringing in comedy.
Okay. Now, and I'm not being, I'm there's nobody out there who is the actual target of these questions. So if people are thinking that I'm pointing a finger at one individual on that, can you if to produce a show you can't do it for if you have absolutely nothing to your name. If you're living on somebody else's charity, living in their
No, you
room,
can't.
you got to have a few bucks in your pocket, right?
It takes money to make money in anything.
Right.
You have to have the money to put into the printing of the posters, to put into having somebody do a graphic that's not elementary as heck. You know,
Yeah,
there is
I think the
money put
problem is
in.
we've glorified the starving artist that people actually bought into it. Music is the same thing. It's like somehow being poor makes you noble, or being able to take these terrible, terrible opportunities that don't pay you anything and feel like you're advancing. I'm fine with the open mic stuff and all that stuff, but if you're letting venue owners, managers just take advantage of you and treat you completely disrespectful, you're not going to move past that because you get stuck in that rut and you start to believe that's what you're worth, right? Or no wrong.
Yeah, if you think $20 is a good payday and you're excited to have it, they're going to keep you at $20.
Right. So with how do you start when so you started at 35 I'm assuming you started the way most people do, an open mic type of thing.
Yes.
You walked in, sign up and did that. How long did you do that for before you said I got to start producing my own shows?
Um, I think I was at it about 6 years.
Wow.
With
Yeah.
every comedian who's been at it a while, they had some time off, and my 2 years off was in that time.
Yeah. Uh, and when you do that, what is the kind of way in? Do you just call up a venue owner and say, "Listen, I want to put a show on in your place. You don't know me. You haven't heard from." I mean, getting started. That's got to be a very tough, uh,
Getting
icebreaker.
started is hard, and the easiest way is go to a venue owner who knows you
Right. Oh, from seeing
from
you
your
like open.
life.
Yeah. Okay. All
Um,
right.
I the My first venue, I had known the woman who owned the place for about 10 years
Yeah,
before
yeah.
their show.
Having connections definitely help. Networking is a big part of it. You can't you can't just expect to do your 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you get at an open mic, and then leave and not talk to anybody and not make any connections. You've gotten nothing out of it. Then you basically nobody's going to remember your name anyway. This is listen. This is a problem. I've gone to several shows recently where comedians didn't even mention their openers or features names, and no and who remembers them if there's somebody you're seeing for the first time. They say their name, but you're seeing five comics in a night, or three comics in a night sometimes. You don't remember their names, and then the headliner doesn't even mention them. So the odds of being remembered from an open mic where there were 20 people there and you didn't network with anybody, you just wasted your night, right? You agree?
We have some open mics down in Denver that are sometimes 60, 70 deep.
Yeah, 60 or 70 deep. Wow, that's a long night. Uh,
Yes. And a couple of them actually switch out hosts halfway through.
well, yeah.
because most is exhausted by the time they get halfway through
I
the list.
I bet I could see that. Now, what is
I see
psychic?
those as a waste of time
Yeah,
unless you're hella funny when you walk in there
I agree. I
and a good
agree.
hang.
Yeah, it becomes a meat market then, and
Yeah.
you know what? You get lost in the sea that big. It's you just do psychedelic comedy. What the hell? What are we talking about?
It is a fundraiser that I do twice a year for the Denver Psychedelic Club. They're a nonprofit here in Denver, and they're focused on building community and spreading awareness about safe psychedelic use. And so we do a fundraiser for them twice a year where I bring in some of the funniest comedians I can find with great one time on acid stories or took too many mushrooms.
Uh, are
And
you are you
we raise
experienced?
funds for the organization and have a great time with the changes in the laws here in Colorado. We are actually able to have one of the local spore companies donate product so that two people who want to grow their own will walk out of there having everything they need to go grow.
Wow.
So
Uh,
things are
so, but
changing fast.
be clear here now. Is it a venue, a static location, or is it a
We have it at the Bug Theater
where?
in Denver. It's a historic theater. It's a beautiful venue, and we have AJ Finney headlining. I don't know if he's the producer of the Backwoods Festival.
Right.
He has 4 albums out that have already gone #1 on the streaming platforms, and he has another one out in July. It's going to
Wow.
be a lot of fun.
And how many comedians take place? Do you have
We
a
have
number?
5.
Okay. Um, now, are psychedelics legal in Colorado? No, or
They're
I don't.
decriminalized. They are being used for therapy legally. So yes,
Wow. Are you experienced?
yes.
You know, 'cause, here it's just funny, man. Because growing up the way I did, I never thought these times would ever happen. But here, I
Me
think
either.
still, if you went to a bank or you went to any like legitimate um, funding situation as a business and said, I'm starting a business and the psychedelics involved, nobody would take you seriously. No, yeah, it's not a real business. You couldn't even say that. You couldn't promote it that way. So it's just a very different time. But uh, so
People still are surprised that I took on a client like this, but I mean, I enjoy doing the private events, and the more I work with these people, the more I think they're just the most awesome folks I've ever worked for.
yeah. Now, safe psychedelic use. That's what you said, right? It's to promote.
Yes,
Now, uh, I don't know, because I, I I don't know where you begin with that because safe psychedelic use. I don't think it's in the substance. I don't think you can because you can take something and one night have a great experience and the next night have a horrific experience. I'm not sure it's in the person. I think it's in the moment of, and so it almost can. How do you start to dictate?
they have a lot of things that they do ahead of time. They teach you not to eat carbs. Some say to fast beforehand. Um,
Yeah, it's not doing it alone, right? I think that would be a big
they
one.
this organization also sets up trip sitters if that's a concern.
Yeah, Carl says safe doesn't have to mean good. I don't know what he means by that. Safe doesn't have to mean good. I mean, safe have what? I don't know what he means by that. Like, does that mean it's going to ruin
Your
you?
mental state has a lot to do with where you go in your journey.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So any preferred is mushrooms the preferred one? LSD. I mean,
I microdose mushrooms for my PTSD, and I find that it helps a lot.
ever do DMT?
I haven't,
I want to really,
but they do
really.
teach you the safe way to do that if that is your interest.
I want to
They
do it
have
just once before I die because I've heard so many good things about it, and I haven't. I gotta say, I probably haven't tripped. No, I know I haven't since 1988. May of 1988 was the last time I took anything. It was LSD, but so it's been that long, and I'm not. I don't really have a desire to go down the whole psychedelic and become a mushroom head and all that stuff. But I want to try DMT because I've heard. First of all, I heard it's a 15-minute trip, which it sounds beautiful to me. Because the worst thing about psychedelics for me was it always felt like it was never going to end. Yes, it
Is
was
it going to
funny for
end
the
yet?
first
Yeah.
six
When are we
hours.
done? Are we there yet?
Yeah. So decriminalized, but you still can't. You can't buy them legally, right? You can't go to like a
You can't
drug.
buy the final product now.
Wow, interesting. And you know, no,
You can grow them. You can exchange them. Like I could gift them, but I can't sell them.
interesting. So and no legal ramifications from hosting an event that is all about this stuff. If not, or are there? I don't know.
I have had more conferences with lawyers in the last month than I think a defendant does, just to make sure that we are staying within the rules of
Well, here's my next question about this because, and this is dates me as just like the boomeriest boomer who ever lived, but we went to the premiere for Monty Python's Holy Grail, King, Church of the Holy Grail, and my friend, we were on acid, and my friend was laughing hysterically through the whole thing, but not. I don't think he was laughing at the jokes. He was laughing because the LSD was just kicking in so hard. With comedy, I mean, you could have a room full of people laughing who aren't hearing any of the jokes, right? Just laughing hysterically, and I don't know if that's necessarily fulfilling. Is that what we're talking about? A room full of people tripping and laughing at anything?
there's no sourcing or use at any psychedelic club event. So
Okay.
some people show up pretty smiley, but there's never been a problem with, oh, yeah, that guy's not laughing at the jokes. He's just laughing. No, I don't think I've ever noticed that.
Well, you say people aren't supposed to use it at the event, but I wasn't supposed to be stoned in high school, but I was every single second
Like
of
I said, they may come in already smiley.
it. Yeah. So with you now, are you performing at this, or are you just
Yes,
producing it?
I host it.
Okay. And do you work clean, or do you? Or
I,
you?
I work clean when I need to, but not normally.
Okay.
I have a clean show coming up in Albuquerque in July, but normally I don't.
Okay. Now, when does this thing kick off? This psychedelic comedy?
It's May 5th at the Bug Theater in Denver.
Do you have flyers or anything about that out yet?
I do. They are on all my social media. They're hanging at the venue, in local businesses.
All right, let's get to the bottom of the social media stuff because I have your Facebook and Twitter. We're scrolling across the bottom, and there are links in the description. But it seems to me you have two of each: two Instagram, two Facebook, two
I
Twitter. Am
have
I
two
wrong?
Facebooks, one Instagram.
Why? Why make
Well, Facebook under Billy Joe, and then Facebook under Outhouse.
got you. uh, uh, there's got to be some way to make it easy for people. Okay, too many links to click, like a I don't know, link tree or something like that that would consolidate all the stuff.
I need to do that. Yes.
Yeah, send me the flyer or whatever stuff you have, and I'll start promoting it. I don't think I saw it on your Facebook page, but I'll look again today.
Okay.
But yeah, um, wait, I got a quote. Craig is asking me, quote, where in Albuquerque? What? Where?
I don't have the information on the event or on the place yet.
Okay.
I know
No,
it's Esther Coker's show.
yeah. So when you're producing shows now, do you audition people? You ask them to submit tapes, or you just picking people from the circuit, or how do you find?
All the above. I mean, if someone wants to get on one of my shows and sends me a video, and I feel like they're a perfect match, then I'll gladly book them. But I do book a lot of the people that I have performed with around the nation and around Colorado.
All right.
With since I do a lot of private events, quite often I'm looking for specific subject matter or whatever to match my clients.
How do those things? That's it. We do a lot of private events now, and it's
It's a roll of
interesting.
the dice, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. But it's also almost always better treatment than a like. It's weird because sometimes, how do I put this? Sometimes the experience of the dopamine rush that you get from applause is not the same. It's a controlled, it's a polite, it's a watered down version of that energy back when you're playing for private events because people are on their best behavior. Sometimes they're whatever, but the pay is definitely so it's a trade-off between I feel more like a respected professional. They feed you, they treat you nice, they all that kind of stuff, they pay you well, but the raw rush and the entertainment, the reason you got into entertainment was that dopamine rush that doesn't come through necessarily as clear. Do you agree with that? Or
Well, depends on the event. Like Psychedelic Club,
oh
it
yeah.
will be. Trust me, those comedians are going to be in front of a full house. It's
No,
a
I would
theater
love to.
show, so yeah. But I have had a lot of private events that were a house party,
Yeah,
and those, yeah, you get paid well, you get fed well, you get good booze, but
yeah,
you're talking to 40 people who are chuckling instead of
yeah, yeah,
full
yeah.
on giving it their all.
I would love to play at a psychedelic club anywhere in the world. Any psychedelic club that would have me, call me. I want to play at a psychedelic club. Just and kind of now. Is this the first one? This one that's coming up in May?
No, this is we're in our third year now of doing this.
You gotta you gotta document this thing somehow and make because it seems like something that would be interesting for people, whether on one of the streaming services or even if it had to be YouTube. It seemed like something you would find an audience for it, I think. No?
I've been looking into that. I just need to find the right videographer and photographer.
Yeah, May, huh? Because no, I have crews and stuff, so but May is a little too soon for me to be coming out there. But no, I definitely would love to see something happen with that. Anyway, um, so when now performing around town and performing around that area in Boulder and Denver and whatever, and producing shows. And this is a question I had for Vinny, and I think people need to hear this because it's not always fun, right? You're out performing, but the work part of it, there is a work element. Even though you're doing what you want to do, you're not like getting caught into corporate America and all or tied into the crap, the rat race that people get tied into. You're doing what you want to do, but a large segment of it is work that is just not
Oh
fun.
yeah, I spend about 4 to 8 hours every day on administration part of it, reaching out, making sure the graphics are the promotions going out on time. Do I have something lined up for next month?
Now, how do you manage the energy? Now, I understand that you got to do the work. How do you manage the energy so that after you do that all day, that you still have the creativity to write comedy?
I find I'm in my happy place quite often at work. And when that happens, that's where the brain starts going. So, quite often when I'm at work, I'll have to just stop what I'm doing and hit the joke book for a minute and then go back to what I'm doing.
Well,
So, I'm really blessed that I'm in a spot where I can do that.
yeah. Now, do you write out jokes? Do you write out stories? How what is
All the
your
above.
yeah?
Sometimes, yeah, I have found that if I just write down a few words and thinking, oh, I'll remember what that is. No, you won't. So I stop and write down the whole thought, overly wordy and all, and later on go through it and pick which parts are worthy.
I think everybody who's done anything creative can relate to that experience. I'll remember this. All I need to do is, get
These three words will prompt me.
Yeah. And then they're like, What the hell? I know there was something here. I must have thought there was something here, but what the hell was it? Yeah, and you don't even have to be all that high or drunk or any of that stuff to have those moments where I, it felt like magical at the moment. Like that's great art. I can't remember what the hell it was, but so energetically though, you're not when it comes to performing. Any you know, uh,
Sometimes I do wear myself out, yes.
yeah.
My
When you
last trip to New York, I was there for 10 days, took 2 days off during that time, did 14 shows and 5 mics.
wow.
Came home and passed the fuck out.
Yeah. How, how far you mentioned New York? Do you get to every state in the union? How often do you
Not
do it?
yet, but
Yeah.
I'm, getting out a lot more. I spent 15 weeks on the road last year, so the more time I spend on the road, the more doors that open in other states.
Were you alone?
Yeah,
This is a weird thing now. It, male, female. You get you're always going to open up a can of worms when you talk about this stuff. But comedy is a male-dominated sport. Um,
so
but
far.
yeah, right. No, and it's getting better. I think it's getting better,
It
but
is.
more equal. Is I don't know how people want to measure better. I think it's getting more equal and opportunities. And some of the it, it's very rare that I've gotten to the position where if I had to name my favorite comedians, they would be women. But right now, I'm in that place where my favorite comedians are women. Well, I mean, still Dave Attell is still on the top of my list. Don't get me wrong. But where was I going? Oh, because you see a lot of guys who are on the road, and they bring somebody with them. It's like Thelma and Louise, a male version of that, like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and women in comedy, who, especially when they take on you see a lot of women traveling the road alone, like they don't partner up, but for some reason. The male thing is, yeah, a buddy system. Like, do you see a lot of that, or is it just my
I
imagination?
do. I have several times gotten a comedian reach out to me with their video, and then once they've got their foot in the door, they're like, "By the way, my buddy's coming with me."
Right.
I'm like, I didn't book your buddy.
Yeah.
You
Uh,
know?
do you enjoy the traveling and that
I
part?
do, and the reason why I travel so much alone is because so many of the other comics who say, "Yeah, I would love to go on the road with you." Okay, here's the schedule. Oh, my boss won't let me off work.
Yeah. Well, that's the hard part, but
Yeah,
uh, a lot of people uh, will make the choice. Like, if I got to do that, I'm going to quit my job just so I can have this adventure. Yeah, it's a personal choice, but at some point you're going to be faced with that dilemma, like work, you know, keeping the job that pays the bills so you can chase your dream. It's hard to make those decisions. I went on a rant last week about because I'm seeing a lot of it in the open mic people stuck in open mic level stuff at 35 to 45 years old, and they're also stuck in this belief. All I got to do is believe in myself and follow my dream and just pump yourself up and all you can pump yourself up all day long with affirmations, memes, and just cliches about
if
moving
you don't
forward
put in
into
the work, you're not going anywhere.
right. It's a drug in itself. It's cocaine in word form. I can make myself believe that my career is advancing, but at the end of the day, if I take a measuring stick, a real measuring stick, to bank accounts and things like that, assets, you're kidding yourself. It's painful for me to watch because I am trying to be as supportive as I can to so many people and just seeing people going down the wrong road. But I guess I need to butt out and just let them fail on their own. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, are you?
Advice and see what they do with it.
Well, I'm hesitant to give advice because, first of all, I have not done that. I've lived on the road. I've made a living in entertainment enough to support my family and put kids through college and all that kind of stuff. But I have not been a stand-up comic. And I don't want to give advice because what could work for me would not necessarily work for them. It's an individual thing. But I do think, if you got to be real about things and real about where you're at, because I see so many people who think they're ready. And a big part of, if I can be honest here about my situation, why I was not more successful than I was in my prime years of my life was because I thought I was ready for bigger things that I never had the talent for. You got to take an honest assessment of your talent. And I had spent my youth, my teenage and 20s, thinking I had rock star talent, and I didn't. And it took me years to realize that. But there's nothing wrong with getting to a level of doing what you want to do, sustaining your life, and living a comfortable life, doing what you want to do. That's a blessing. Most people won't ever exist, but we always want that, that golden ring. People set this, yeah, but kid themselves about, am I really ready? Do I have mastery of the craft enough to stand on the stage with the biggest people, the biggest and brightest stars in the world? And I don't. I never did.
I feel like more people, instead of try say, when you ask, "Hey, do you have 20 minutes?" Oh yeah, when they never have done 20 minutes.
Right.
More people need to take kind of the direction I've gone is people will let me know when I'm ready for the next step. I didn't
Yeah.
start going after book spots till people started booking me. I didn't start going after feature spots till people started booking me as a feature. Same with headliner. Because people will let you know when you're ready.
Right. And the other part of it I'm seeing is just the trimming of the fat, I guess, is the best way I could put it. Like, because I've gone to a number of shows recently. One where a guy actually admitted he went 7 minutes of just talking for a single chuckle in the room, and at the end of it, he said that was a long way to go for that one laugh. I mean, it's just talking too much and not getting to the funny. Everybody. Here's the thing I was thinking last night. Comedians are smart people generally, but they want to let people know how smart they are. But the best comedians I see right now are not really concerned with impressing the audience about how smart they are. They know their job is to make people laugh, and I think a lot of people forget that at the when the budding stage where they want to be. I gotta show I can be George Carlin and act like a professor here and teach them
Or
something.
they try to go full edge, and it's like, dude, nobody wants to hear that.
Right, right. With the private events, do they talk about like what you can do and can't do? Do you get a lot of that? Like,
Sometimes I mean, if it's a corporate thing, of course they want clean, and quite often they will define exactly what they don't want to hear. I did an LGBTQ show where I took the videos of the performers who wanted to be involved, and the director of the organization watched one, said, "We don't want to hear any of that."
wow.
So yeah, I do have to tailor who I book according to what the clients don't want to hear just as much as what they do.
And so, the state you live in is like the purplest, weirdest, schizophrenic state in America, I believe. It's just like you could have like hardcore MAGA people next to LGBTQ people getting along sometimes in that state. It's just a weird. I don't. It's great that they're able to not kill each other as much, but it's a very weird. So that part has got to be always like constantly taking a measurement of the room and adjusting accordingly. Yes.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of places where if I dare to start talking about being a Marine, I immediately see these women just, and I know what they're thinking. They're like, "You're the reason my granddaughter might get drafted."
Right.
Guilty. But they're not going to hear anything positive from what I have to say, just because that's where their line is. No, you're one of those. Yeah.
No, that's. I mean, I don't want to get all political and stuff. That's not a real thing. There's not going to be another draft, men or women.
I don't believe there ever will either. But I mean, the fact that the Supreme Court has said women are eligible for the draft, at that moment, the one of the news things just made a big thing of that, had people so scared their daughters are going to be forced into war that, yeah, that.
That's such a strange argument. I mean, sometimes we get so caught up in these political team mentalities. Like all that matters is winning, and we got to beat the other team. The other team is bad. We're good, and that we forget the principles that we trying to follow, because it seems to me, and I don't, again, I'm trying not to be too political here.
These are folks my mother's age and older, too.
Right. But it seems to me those people, in the older set, the more conservative, older people, value femininity and all that stuff, and women's traditional role in society, whatever they thought that meant. But they also are people who think, women should fight. It doesn't seem to go hand in hand anyway. It seems to be contradictory to their own values a lot of times. And we see that across the board on issues. People stop thinking about really the issues and just think all that matters is we got to win. We got to win. We got to beat the other guys. It's very strange. So you went from, now the Marines, very male dominated too, right? I mean, so
yeah, quite. When people ask me, "You're the only woman at this mic. Does that bother you?" I'm kind of used to a male dominated society. I'm a landscaper. I'm a Marine. Quite often when I pull up on site at work, people are like, "She's funny," and then they figure out I'm the boss. Oh, she's running the crew.
Yeah. So, how often are you performing now? Do you have a schedule out there for people? Is it on the
I
Facebook?
do. At outhouseComedy.com, you can see my full schedule. I have a lot going on this year. I am in Lone Tree on the 30th of this month. That's going to be a big show. I am on a Serenade Music Festival, July 21st, down in Pueblo, Colorado. So, yeah, we have a lot. If I listed the whole thing, you'd get bored. So just check out the website, outhousecomedy.com.
I did not even know about. I will find that and put it in the link in the description. I did not. Outhousecomedy.com. The name Outhouse, obviously. Are there still outhouses in Colorado?
You find them from time to time.
I bet you could.
There's some off-grid life that, they didn't mean to be off-grid, but eventually they were like, we're the winners. We were ahead of our time.
When I was in Durango in the 70s, there were still outhouses. But that's a long time ago, 50 years ago now, really. Time flies when you have
an interesting college, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thank you for getting up and spending some time with us this morning, letting us know about psychedelic comedy. May 1st, is that when you said it is?
May 5th.
May 5th. Oh.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. My favorite day of the year, by the way. I appreciate you being here, Billy Joe, and please come back anytime. You got anything to promote, and send me any, even if you don't want to stop in and say promote something. If you got something happening, just send me the information. I'll be happy to put it out there for you. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye for now. Billy Joe Gillespie, folks. I'm going to take a short break, and I will be right back. We didn't play the commercial yet. I have to remember to play the commercial. You folks got to remind me. If I don't play Cola commercial, I get in big trouble. And yesterday was in big trouble. So drink your cold coffee. I'm going to go get a fresh cup, and I'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by Koa Coffee. If you are a coffee connoisseur and want to experience the best coffee Hawaii has to offer, no blends, no compromise, try the true taste of aloha. Koa Coffee produces premium Hawaiian coffee Hand-picked, expertly roasted, and delivered from Hawaii to your door with aloha. From award-winning 100% Kona coffee grown on the slopes of the Mauna Loa volcano to the unique mocha beans of Maui, they strive to provide their loyal customers with the best quality and freshness. Since 1997, Koa Coffee has been known far and wide as a product of utmost quality, and their awards prove it. Koa Coffee was featured in Forbes' Top 10 Coffees of the World. This is the coffee Forbes called the best coffee in America. Find out what it's all about. Go to minddogtv.com/coffee. Find out what it's all about. Go to minddogtv.com/coffee.
Coffee with a Dog is live streaming now.
Live streaming now, with a little bit of echo there. Tonight, Henry Phillips, Punching Henry, Punching the Clown, The Highwayman, Henry's Kitchen, and The Mind Dog Show. Henry Phillips will be my guest tonight. Now, he should be on in the morning, but he's one of these people who can't wake up early to be on the morning show. So I was probably going to do it in a coffee motif. I'm an idiot. I haven't had an edible yet today. So I don't know why I'm making myself laugh yet. But motif, I'm going to probably do it as a coffee. And so I can re-air it maybe next week and take a day off and just air the Henry. So I might be, even though it's tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, be saying good morning, Henry, and treating it like it's a morning show, just so I can re-air it as a morning show. Do you care? You don't care. And then tomorrow, Rob Maybe, I think it's Mabe. I'm not sure. It might be Maybe. It's a weird name. Like it looks like it's pronounced maybe. Will be my guest, and Jackie Martling will also be my guest. And then I have it's like one of those weeks, folks. I have a show tomorrow night with a guy named Craig Johnson out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we're going to be, I don't know, making a case for lightening up on the boomers. Stop beating up on the boomers. Listen, the boomers, my generation, Craig's generation, we're not perfect people. Neither are you. We've fucked up, and so have you. We're not responsible for each other, and neither are you. But this guy named Billy Wayne Davis, funny man, funny fella, clown, comic. Oh yeah, he's here to make me laugh. Funny haha, that's how. Anyway, he comes off with this boomer hate tweet that set Craig and I into argument mode. And so tomorrow night's show will be I hope Billy will at least watch and maybe chime in the chat room. He's welcome to join in defense of his boomer hateism, ageism, boomerism. And I'm not even stoned. You get that? Anyway, so we'll be making a defense of the boomer stuff. I don't want to get too much into it now, but sure, there were some shitty boomers. There still are. Don't get me wrong. Shitty boomers. I'm not one. And so the argument is really, will we take responsibility for our whole generation? No, I won't take responsibility for my own generation. I'm not taking responsibility for my own fucking family. I don't take responsibility for what other people do. I take responsibility for what I do. And yes, I have been a fuck up. No doubt about it. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And I take responsibility for them. All of them. I also don't really allow myself to take too much credit for my successes. but that's where it ends at me. Uh, why is Karl Mann saying got to elect the right wing every few years or the left start eating babies? What does that have to do with boomerism? Now the boomers. Let's be clear here. I'm going to get into this. I don't want to. This is for tomorrow night. But let's be clear here. Billy is on the left, and the boomers were on the left. This is not a left-right thing. This is an age thing. The boomers were hippies. They were. Now they're not anymore. They evolved from hippies into Archie Bunker somehow. But they were peace, love, and dope. Free love. Woodstock. Environmentalists and Earth Day. Earth Day is coming up this week. When is it? It's 2 days from now, right? Or this Saturday? Earth Day. Earth Day is a boomer thing. It's a hippie thing, not a left-right thing. This is an AIDS thing. And that's all I'll say about it right now. Tune into the show, Hippie Bunker. A hippie bunker. Yeah. Tune into the show and hear the arguments. I don't want to get into it now. It's for another night. Anyway, so tonight, Henry Phillips. Probably talk a little music, talk a little comedy, maybe talk a little possibility of producing a show with Henry in it. Yeah, I haven't been talking about this too much because I don't want to mess it up. But I am starting to produce or getting my feet wet in the comedy production arena. And I got some ideas. Oh, by the way, before I go here, Doug Stanhope is doing a taping. I guess it's for a new special at Rogan's Club in May on a Tuesday and Wednesday. I believe it's a Tuesday and Wednesday. It might be a Monday and Tuesday. Day drinking. Show starting at noon to 2 p.m. 2 days during the week in Austin at Rogan's Club. And I'm trying to put together a package that will give away 2 tickets complete with airfare and hotel to Stanhope's day drinking taping. I'll probably have that finalized by hopefully the weekend. Oop, there goes the voice again. Jordan Peterson here. I don't think the Doug Stanhope taping contest is a good idea. Yeah, sorry. Don't pay no attention to Jordan. Anyway, so I'll probably have that nailed down by the weekend. And see, the problem is, you never know where the winner's going to come from. Going to come from. Plane tickets vary, obviously, based on where you're coming from. So putting the package together and the logistics of it, not something I've ever done before. But I'm thinking this would be a very good promotion, very cool thing. Because I know we got a lot of Stanhope fans out there. A lot of those on Live 365, right? Am I right about that? Live 365? Talk to me. Talk to me, old Live 365. So I'm thinking that would be a cool promotion and thing to do. Where the bring up my my brand stuff? Oh, it's down here. Here.
You're watching WDOG Mind Dog TV.
I'm not sure I like that one. Try this one.
Mind Dog is your mind's best friend.
That's not too bad. I don't know. I'm not really, and I don't know what the glitchy stuff is all about. I guess that's what's cool these days. Anyway, so tonight, Henry Phillips, join me then. Thanks for coming today. I hope you have a great rest of your day here. That's all, right? Is that all? Great. I'm Buzz fan call saying, well, again, depends on where you're coming from. You're not going to come from Poland on a Greyhound bus. On a Greyhound bus. I've been traveling this morning. You don't even know what song that is. You anti-whaling people, you. Anyway, it's time for me to go. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our family. Mickey. Why? Because we love you. Like you. Something. MOUSE. Bye for now. Turn on your radio. Live 365 radio. Get the app. Do me a favor. Download the app. All right. Bye for now.
listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.